Welcome back to another edition of the Course Creation Incubator Podcast. I'm your host, GINA, excited as always to help you get your course creation done, to get your course out there to market, welcome your first students, and help you build up the course-based business of your dreams. Now we have hit episode 150. Heck yes. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast each and every week. I wouldn't be here without you listening to my rants, my raves, my workshops, bringing in these special guests. Thank you for listening in. If you've been listening and I haven't heard from you, please reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, send me an email. I'll link to it in the show notes. Or leave me a review. I would love it if you would let me know how this podcast has impacted you. And once you leave the review, please reach out to me so I know, so I can give you a shout out on social media. So because this is our 150th episode, I thought let's look back on some course learning trends that my team and I have been working with for about a year and a half. And part of this podcast was stirred by this other podcast interview I did, where I was interviewed for about 90 minutes. And this host was super prepared, guys. He asked me a ton of different questions about course creation and marketing. He hit me up on some tech aspects of course creation, which I'm loving how to build platforms. I can speak to that. I can speak to those technical aspects. But then he talked about AI and VR, gamification. And I'm still a student of these aspects of course creation, and I told him that. But I'm going to do my research and continue to learn more about these different trends. And today I thought I would talk about 5 trends that we are seeing, and I say we, my team and I are seeing today versus 5 or 6 years ago. And some things will never go out of style, right? Being clear and intentional with your course, offering a very clear transformation, solving for a pain point. These are evergreen yeses for our students. So these are trends that we really want you to double down on and think about how you can apply to your own course creation. And if you like this episode, I'll come back and do some course marketing trends and selling trends. And I've been doing some podcasts lately about how to sell. If you haven't listened to that awesome interview I did with Regina, my fellow queen, in terms of how to maximize your website and your call to actions, make sure you check that out. I'll link to it in the show notes. And I'll link to some other great selling podcasts that we've done. All right, let's dive into those course learning trends in honor of our 150th episode. The first trend that we're seeing is about community and how it's a given. People are asking for it. It's an expectation now versus a couple of years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, before the pandemic, people would position it as a bonus. Maybe they offered a community, maybe not. But today, there's a very strong expectation for it. I know that because I was selling my 6-week accelerator, the evergreen version, and people were like, Gina, where's the community? So I had a forum where people could ask questions, but not really a community aspect. So I recently upgraded, I've talked about that in this podcast. Inside of the 6-week accelerator, we have an upgraded community now because I heard you. I heard what people wanted and the expectations from people like, well, if you don't have a community, I can go elsewhere, right? And that's what they're thinking if your course doesn't have some kind of access to you or maybe other people that are going through your course. So thinking through your community, how often are you posting? What kind of content are you posting? Like, what do you want that community to feel like? How do you want it to represent your course? Is there an aspect of your course that isn't as strong that you're thinking, well, I'll use my community to kind of beef this up? Or I'm not sure what people really want in this module. Maybe there's an aspect of your course where you want to see what kind of questions people ask. You can use the community to beef up, to strengthen that area of your course. So really think through and be thoughtful about how your community is a companion to your course. So for me, for the 6-week accelerator, you file your homework every week. So week to week, you have a milestone and a piece of homework that you need to do. I use the community to go in there, and sometimes I give them feedback, but sometimes I'll say, hey, so-and-so brought up an overarching point or a question that was really great today. I wanted to open this up to the community because I bet many of you have questions about this. So I thought I would address it here. So that's how I'm thoughtfully using community to augment what I already have inside of my 6-week accelerator. And I've been talking about the 6-week accelerator a lot. If you want to get your starter course to market in 6 weeks and work with me doing it, please check out the show notes. I'll link to it. It's coursecreationboutique.com/6weeks. So using that community as a living, breathing feedback place for you and not just allowing people just to ask questions. Because if people are asking questions, that's great. I consider that more of a forum or a feedback loop. But in a community, you're posting things, you're bringing up questions, you're inspiring them. Folks can share with each other if possible. So think through the different types of thought leadership that you might want to post there. By the way, be intentional about how you create your community. I think course creators are sometimes hesitant to create a community because they worry about the time commitment. It comes up every time. If I bring up community, there's that hesitation in their voice. Well, GINA, how often do I have to be in there? Right? But you're being intentional. You're setting the ground rules from the very start. And maybe you're not in there that much, or maybe you have a VA, a virtual assistant, or some kind of support that can be there alongside you. And that support person could be somebody maybe who've taken your course before, who's now become an ambassador for your content. Maybe he or she is popping into the community to help you. And I get it. You can really burn yourself out trying to answer every question or being available at all times. But if you're being intentional about offering your community and you clearly explain the boundaries to your students, it can really add value for them without becoming a burden for you. So that's number one, a robust community and interaction, you being in there or getting somebody to help you interact with your students. The second trend that we're seeing is having more cohorts in terms of course creation and going through a course together. So I used to do this with my 6-week accelerator. I would do about maybe 2 cohorts a year. And we'd go through the content the 6 weeks together. And that's what I mean by cohort. You have a small group that you walk through your curriculum over 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it is. You're learning together, you're in the trenches together. And I'm seeing more of this. So we've got one expert who works for us and he does longer cohorts, more like 6 months to a year. That could be potentially great for you as well, depending on your content, your students, what they really need, that time period that they really need it. Like, do they need more of that mastermind type group where they want that longevity, they want you over a year? Or is it better to do something short term like the 6 weeks? What does your content really ask for, right? So part of the promise of the 6-week accelerator is obviously getting your course done in 6 weeks. Now, when I used to do this live with cohorts, I would extend the 6 weeks just a tad because I wanted to follow up. So I'd make it more like 8 weeks, or I'd throw an implementation week in there. That's a possibility for you as well. Again, you're working toward a common goal. And going back to number one, that first trend, having this community feel is really important when you have the cohort. Usually communities and cohorts go hand in hand. So you might want to have a cohort. And by the way, it doesn't mean you have to go live. Cohort does not equal live. It just means you have a select group, you're in this together and you're going through it. I have another client who has an intensive, so it's like a 2-week intensive, and she only offers it so many times a year. It's a small group of women going through each day, and each day they get a challenge. So that to me is a cohort too, versus just having a self-paced course that's open. You can grab it anytime you want. There's power in that, right? There's impact in that. Students going through something together and really sharing in that experience. Another trend, this is our third trend that we're seeing, is micro learning. So less content, more action. Okay, so what does this mean? I've talked about this on the podcast before, and I've talked about this course that I opened up, and it was 1-hour videos, and I closed it and I never looked at it again. Because you will never find me watching a 1-hour video. I just can't do it. I know my limitations. I know my attention span, and I really need somebody to break up that content for me. Unless you're going to pay me to do it, right? People pay me to listen to hour-long videos and break it up or make recommendations. This is what I do. And I know that I'm immediately turned off by something that's longer. My brain doesn't work that way. I don't learn that way. So some of you have raised your hand and said, we don't want that too, right? That resonates with you. People don't want 20-minute videos anymore. I mentioned hour-long videos. People don't want 20-minute videos. I'm seeing more and more 5, 7, 10-minute videos. Get a quick shot, then go have an experience. Or I'm seeing 3-minute videos and then go check out your PDFs. Or on the flip side of this, I'm seeing maybe some fewer handouts and more experiences. So instead of saying, hey, go fill out your worksheet and da-da-da-da-da, step 1, step 2, step 3, saying, hey, go out in the world and experience this content live. Like you could have a power of awe class, right? And experiencing all the awe-inspiring things around you. So you don't necessarily want a worksheet around that. You want to give them an experience to go back and share in your community. So we keep bringing it back to number 1. The point is, you're not jamming all of this content in there. Sometimes less is more, and you want to give them the insights and then leave them to experience it. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's going through a course about how to promote her book. And she's saying there was a ton of information that was just optional. You didn't have to go through it. It wasn't part of the core class, but you could refer back to it again and again. So I love this idea too, having an optional library depending on what you need. So if I'm teaching graphics or I'm teaching something about design, maybe I don't need every aspect of what you're teaching me if it's 5 steps, right? Or maybe it's just 5 core chunks and I just want the section on Canva. So I'll pick and choose that. Think about what your students really need. Do they really need the step-by-step on that? Or is it kind of a buffet that they can choose from depending on what they need? Here's another example of where less is more. I've been talking about on this podcast, encouraging Tristan to write a kidlit book. And I bought a book that's a course in a book about writing a kidlit book. Now, I'm wondering if there's a course out there about teaching your kid how to write a kidlit book, because maybe I can do that course. But anyway, I got turned off in the first chapter because there's 7 or 8 exercises in the first part. And they're not easy. And listen, they're not step-by-step, like step 1, you gotta do this exercise. Step 2, you gotta do this exercise. But as an overachiever, I naturally wanna do all the exercises. But literally, if I did all these exercises, it would take me a week. So I'm turned off and I'm feeling overwhelmed already. It's first exercise is like find 4 books that you like, break down the characters and da-da-da. Like it's multiple steps and multiple books. That's the first of 7 or 8 exercises. Like how long is it gonna take me to do this? So here I am, I just started this book, which is a course in a book, and I'm already wanting to leave. I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed. I'll get past it because I'm probably gonna go on my own path. So that's what you gotta think about. If your students get stuck because it's too much or they're feeling overwhelmed, they're gonna try to figure it out themselves. And that means they might leave and not finish your course. So cut out the overwhelm, don't overdo it when it comes to delivering your content. And by the way, last point on this, we used to equate the value of a course with how much stuff we got, right? I remember courses that had a ton of bonuses, like 10 bonuses. And I think we're at a point where we're overwhelmed with information and we're frustrated that we are learning a lot, but we're all stuck in the same place. Now, I think we're looking for some quick win courses that are going to help us move forward, like the faster, the better. So as course creators, we need to step back from everything we teach and focus on where our students are stuck, where they want to be, and how we can help them go from point A to point B with ease. It's that action that's going to keep them engaged and want to continue to learn from you and finish your course. All right, the 4th trend is using assessments in different ways. Now, assessments or quizzes aren't new. We've been using them since the Stone Age of courses. However, what we're seeing is using them in more creative ways. So it used to be the go-to assessment you took at the end of the course, right? Or like a classic university style, you take your midterm and then the final. But with courses, we can assess them whenever we want. So we could do it at the end of the module or thoughtfully after different lessons. So with the 6-week accelerator, I talked about those milestones that you have to hit. That's like an assessment at the end because I'm asking you to take action on what you've learned. So there's some multiple choice in there where I'm asking you, okay, what kind of course are you putting together? Some of it is fill in the blank, some of it is uploads. So it's asking you to do something after each and every module. I've had some course creators who did pop quizzes in the middle of lessons. I had another course creator who does personality assessments inside of her course. So think about how you can mix it up in terms of assessing where your students are and asking them to come back into the community and report back. So if you do an assessment about, for example, your leadership style or how you respond to stressful situations, then you could take that assessment and report back to the community, and then people can share, how did you do? And how are you going to change that behavior? So like, what were your results? And then what's your next step? That's another great use of community. Don't be afraid to use your assessments in different ways. People want to be held accountable. I hear it all the time. More and more people have course fatigue. They buy up courses. You might be listening right now because you bought so many courses. So when you have course fatigue, you want to know you're going to be held accountable, and great assessments, thoughtful assessments, are an awesome way to do that. So the fifth trend, we're almost there, guys. This is not new, but really adapting to different learners, and there's more great ways to do that than ever. So like, I love doing companion audio or just doing an audio class. I'm seeing more audio summits and people relying more on audio versus video. I think a nice mix, or people using audio in terms of teaching your take action pieces, I think is really great. I mentioned before, I can't watch hour-long videos or heck, even 20-minute videos. So I love watching those shorter videos. That's for a visual learner like me. So a different kind of learner would be my husband, Alex, who has the patience and watches these longer videos. Gosh, if he doesn't know how to fix something in the car, he'll watch a 30-minute YouTube video, and he has the patience and the attention to detail for that. And I just don't, and we know that. So we're just different kinds of learners. I mentioned gamification up front. Gamification is really great for some people who want to unlock the next reward, for example, and a lot of people are motivated by that. So Fitbit, for example, sends me the London whatever award, right? Or I've hit my weekly goal. That doesn't impact me much. I have to admit that, but I do love hitting my daily goals. That's meaningful to me. So you just got to think about, like, again, what does your student really want? What's going to move the needle for them? All right, there they are. 5 trends that I'd love for you to take action on if you're not already taking action on it. So the first was that community as a given. The second is to try out those cohorts. The third is keeping your content short and really focusing on the actions. Micro learning, okay? 4 is using assessments in a creative way. And 5 is always appealing to different kinds of learners, including those who might want to be incentivized a little bit. And by the way, mobile content, right? I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. You want to make sure your content is available on mobile devices. This is huge. People are on the go. People are probably taking your courses on a cell phone right now. So having a platform that is mobile friendly is also an important consideration. So many people are on the go and want to be able to access your content or community at any time. So having a platform that is mobile friendly is also an important consideration. So reach out to me, let me know how you're going to take action on these. Leave me a review because I would love it, especially because we're at 150 episodes. And by the way, if you want to get coached by me, we open that back up in terms of the coaching podcast. You'll see the link inside the show notes so you can apply. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss one episode. I'll see you next week. We're going to talk about calls to action for your content. Until next week, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.